June has been hanging since the second year of the show. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not been a real official hanging until later on.
Okay, but lots of experience. And so she's going to kind of talk us through the how to. And some of you I know just have stepped up in the last year or two, especially after COVID. We've noticed that we've had a lot of people who've moved or retired from this position. So we thank each of you for stepping up. And it's going to be a gorgeous day. We are hanging a total of just over 1,100 quilts. So that makes for a beautiful show day and lots of fun. And the quilts are coming in, which is so neat to see them all. Let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. And then one of our other hanging team captains, Janet, has shown up. Sometimes you need a second set of hands. So she's going to kind of be watching, but also might be here to help out. So June, I'm going to go ahead and let you start with.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to turn this so I can actually, oh, yes, there we go.
Oh, make sure that all of your crew has signed this release form.
And where would they find those?
Well, sometimes I carry them around, but usually they get them at the quilt show office, and having extra ones around because people walk up and down the streets, they want to get involved, they get excited, let them hold a quilt, they still have to sign a release.
Perfect.
So, and then secondly, we have quilts which come in bags that are labeled for each section. So it will say at the very top, so this is section 3, which is Colleen Blackwood's section. And this is the Three Creeks building, which it says here, go on this building. And it also says that it goes under the eaves. So when we're hanging, we need to, I divide my crew into sections. So I have 2 blocks and quite a few buildings in those blocks. So I divide people up into groups of 3 or 4, and each one is sent with certain bags and a ladder and rags, which are in here. You need to have your rags to wipe down your wires.
Okay, so I'm going to show you all real quick.
So Janet is wiping down the wires very carefully, and anybody on the ladder has to have a spotter. Leaves the rag up on the wire right there. Get down and move the ladder. Okay, now she can reach her rag and do it all over again. So this goes on every single wire. Then we also need the person on the ladder to have the clothespins. Well, they come in these nice little bags. When you pick up the quilts over at Quilt Show, they have everything bagged up. They have clothespins in bags, depending on the size of your, I always have extras if your section runs out. You can run people down to my section, which is 1 and 2. So for my team, we've been hanging together for over 20 years. Made little aprons, and these are for the ladies to wear or the men to wear on, like so, on the ladder. Now Janet will fill her bag with clothespins. Once we're all prepared, we always start from left to right, looking at it from the front. She doesn't go up on the ladder until she has a spotter with her. The team leaders get a book of their section. So this is Colleen's book of section 3. And within this, she has multiple pages of where to hang quilts. Now, if we look at this, it's the front of this building. Janet is over here on the far left. If I look at this pattern here, we're going to hang 3 quilts because there's 3 stars. And here are the 3 quilts that are listed for that area. We always start with the top one and then go to the next one and then the next one. My assistant down here gets to hold that and double check me to make sure I'm getting the right quilt out. Now, when they bag the quilts, they are bagged so that the top quilt is on the far left, always. And we don't have to double inspect most generally, but as we're hanging, we do check the barcode on the back to make sure that that got put in the bag the way it says on the paper. So I go to the bag and pull out the top quilt. We have a quilt number right here, and we'll see where the barcode is here in a minute. I unfold it so that I've got a hold of the top. I never let it go down on the ground. Now, if you've got a really big quilt, it takes 2 people. So Helen would grab the bottom of it and make sure it doesn't go down to the ground. We open it up and I have a hold of the top. My ladder girl, get up on the ladder. So I will hand her 1 corner of this quilt. Now we're going to get 3 in here, so she needs to go further down. Another thing too, wear tennis shoes because we are up and down on the ladder. The only time that I've ever heard of an accident at all was sandals. So do not wear sandals when you are hanging a quilt.
Or heels.
Or heels. Okay, do you have your pins? Now, when she's hanging the quilt, we always hang with the wire on the back side. Now, can you see how she's folding it over with the back side? Okay, now I'm going to stop her before she moves the ladder. I have gotten to where I double pin the very corners. So she's going to add another clothespin. We get a lot of wind here in Central Oregon. So that one is double pinned. They're about 8 to 12 inches apart, the pins. When we come up to an area where there is a reinforcement on the wire, we skip around that and pin on both sides of it. Gonna have this end up and then she'll come back and fill in. So she'll have 2 double pins on that side. During this process, I'm going to go out and make sure it's hanging straight. Okay, before I do that, I double check the barcode. And so I've got the name of the quilt. We double check and make sure that that is this quilt and the barcode matches it. Now we're going to pull out our next quilt. And we're going to get all 3 here. But before we do that, we have, and you will find that a lot of people come along and want to give advice. Tell them thank you. And yes, we'll get that little wrinkle out. If they don't like what's hanging next to each other, just say, well, that's how we keep track of them. We want to leave a little space in between. And we leave a little space if possible so that the viewers can read the stories on these. Another thing, there'll be bushes up next to the buildings. And when there are, you kind of finagle your ladder around. You try never to damage any of the foliage that's existing. And you also have somebody holding the bottom of the quilt so that it's not draping in the foliage. The foliage might have some dust on it. Every quilt needs to be protected. And every quilt is an important part of somebody's life. So we want to honor that.
It's wonderful.
Okay, this has gone up really fast.
Kind of see.
I like to keep them evenly spaced.
So you
And
have to
so
go back
these
and-
are pretty close to evenly spaced. And it gives an area on the edge for people to come into the building. Do not block doorways. There will be certain windows that you will be blocking. And it will show up on your diagram. That one will be folded up, and once we get a quilt down, 2 people will fold. We always want the tag to the outside. We will fold it in probably quarters here or thirds, and up, down, and then we put it back in the bag. When you never know about the weather. We do not get in a huge hurry to take quilts down because we do not want to damage anything. I have seen people just yank on them to pull them down. That is not acceptable. You get back up, you take the pins off, you have 1 or 2 people down below to catch the quilt, and then they fold. And then the team leader takes the quilts off to the office. And those are checked in there. Don't forget your pins. They go back to the office, and your paperwork. So you start at 7 a.m. Takedown starts at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, right after the raffle quilt.
And I have one question. So we took the page and the quilts in the bag for this wall here,
Yes.
and then we have a separate page for the other wall, correct? And other bags?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's perfect.